Greetings. In this video, I'll be discussing a very inexpensive, safe alternative to a root canal that I discovered a little while ago. And I'll get right to the point so that you can perhaps get a better idea of whether this option might be viable for you. So a while back, my girlfriend had some dental work. She had a couple of fillings put in on a couple of adjacent teeth. Now, overall, her dental health was not terrible, but she needed the fillings. And after the fillings were put in, ever since then, she had pain in those teeth whenever she'd eat or drink something cold. She didn't have that pain before the fillings were put in, but since the fillings were put in, she had pain whenever she'd ingest something cold. Otherwise, she didn't have pain. She didn't have other symptoms, but that pain continued for months after that dental procedure, and eventually it was getting quite aggravating for her, and she figured she might as well have it checked out. So she went back to the same dental office. It happened to be a different dentist filling in at that time who specialized in root canals. And so he asked her a bit about her symptoms, and then he sprayed those teeth with this gas that I suppose is cold. I'm not sure exactly what it was. And she said, "Ow, that hurt." And he said, "Oh, well, then you need root canal." And so she came back to me and she told me this story, and I said, "Oh, that sounds like bullshit," because if she had just had, the decay on those teeth, resolved just a couple of months prior, and there were no other symptoms other than just some pain whenever she'd ingest cold foods or drinks, then it didn't sound to me like the teeth were in all that terribly bad shape, and it didn't sound to me like something as drastic as a root canal was justified. So that dentist or that practitioner's recommendation sounded illegitimate or extreme to me. And what came to mind was I thought I had read years before of certain what are called homeopathic medicines or homeopathic remedies, some of which can effectively remedy symptoms of nerve injuries. And from what she was describing to me, it sounded like it might not be that the tooth was infected, but rather that maybe there had just been some aggravation of the nerve in that tooth when that dental work had been performed, and that was causing the sensitivity to cold and pain and so forth. So I consulted a couple of my books on homeopathic medicine that I had on hand, and kind of narrowed down the possibilities to a particular homeopathic medicine that's called Hypericum perforatum. Pardon me if I'm not getting the pronunciation correct. I'm not entirely certain of the pronunciation, but I will put the spelling of it in the description of this video that should appear beneath this video, and I'll also put some links in that description of the video that will link to that product, as well as perhaps some books on homeopathic medicine that would be helpful, so that you can read more on this if you're interested. I don't practice homeopathic medicine myself. I don't sell any of these products, but I'll put some helpful links in the description of this video that might be of help if you're interested in learning more about this and determining if this would be a viable option for you. This is the actual bottle of homeopathic medicine that she took. As you can see, the name of the remedy there, Hypericum perforatum. She took it, just a few pellets of it, about twice a day for 1 week, and her pain was gone. It was resolved. She's never had any pain since then. And that was after months of continuous pain whenever she'd ingest cold foods or drinks. And this homeopathic medicine, even though she had no belief or expectation that this would do her any good, and she had no familiarity with homeopathic medicine before this, she just took this a couple of times a day at my suggestion, and it cleared up her pain in 1 week. So clearly it was not the placebo effect at work, as she had no expectation this would work, but it did. It worked quite well for her and saved her from, a very extreme and expensive dental procedure that clearly was totally unnecessary. And if you're watching this video, you're probably aware that there's not only the financial cost of root canals, but they also have perils and drawbacks in terms of your health as well. So, whereas homeopathic remedies like this are essentially safe and harmless, they're available over the counter in many countries, including the United States. Don't need a prescription. Um, you can get perfectly complete advice on using them from books that are commonly available, and I'll put links in the description of this video that you can use for that if you wish. Um, and these homeopathic medicines only cost roughly around $10 a bottle, which is, more than enough for treating a condition such as this. Now, I would add that, if you're having dental pain, that could have a variety of causes, one of which is perhaps the tooth is infected. And in that case, simply a homeopathic medicine like hypericum might not be the best option. You really need to address the infection in other ways, most likely. But if it's a case where, you're just having, the tooth doesn't really seem to be in all that bad of shape, it doesn't seem to be infected, but you're just having pain similar to what my girlfriend was having, then trying this out might be worth a shot. I mean, it's essentially harmless, won't do much harm to your pocketbook, given how inexpensive these are. And if you want to read more about how safe homeopathic medicines are, then you can read one of the books that I'll link to in the description of this video. So certainly this won't be applicable to all people with dental pain, but to many of them this might work. And I certainly hope this has been of some insight or use to you. And if this sort of medicine would be suitable in your case, then I hope it works well for you. And best wishes with your health.